keys. Okay, so you are going to hold here and there. Okay? I am going to be holding here and here. But I'm going to come around her arm.
How come?
Oh, good question. It's almost like you were cued on that one. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Pull. 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 Come on! Do you see what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay? She can't see him. What do you mean?
Uncomfortable with that.
Oh, that was you?
Wow.
Oh, this, yeah, I know, right?
I can't believe you have to wear one all day.
Okay?
Definitely.
So, because she can't really see him, because my fat ass is blocking the view, so if he says 1, 2, 3, she starts to go on 2 because, you know, that whole do I go on? What do I? It's 1, 2, 3, go. Is it 1, 2, 3, and then go? I don't know. Okay? Because, you know, generally speaking, it's a fireman that's your assistant, because you're partners here. So you got to hire the handicap, and you got a fireman helping you. Okay, so he says 1, 2, 3, but he wasn't. He's like, oh, hold on, because I'm right here. I heard that she didn't. So she starts to pull because she just heard 1, 2, 3, and so I can stop her. If I'm like this,
She's in the pool.
she can pull. Now she just took his pelvis and rolled it away from his spine. If we have an injury here in the spine, she just torqued it. So having that ability to just keep her in check, because with firemen, you always got to keep them in check. That allows you to benefit your patient. Okay? You're controlling it. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so, grab me one. Grab me one of those words.
Ahí se me
Go lay it down. But you can stay like that. So when you arrived on scene, you put your board here because you knew what you were about to do anyway, okay? So board is there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to grab his shoulder. I'm gonna grab here, okay? She's going to grab in her position. Now, I'm gonna position myself so that I have about this much space between me and the body, because as it rolls, it's gonna come up against me. Okay? So on your count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Now we've pulled the patient to me. Okay. Now see what I've done here. Okay. Grab ass. Okay? Just made your day. Didn't it? Here comes the prize. Okay.
Wait, Mr. Richardson, how am I supposed to hold it from here? Like, just like that?
You're using your forearms. Okay, to support. Okay. So this is now you're holding here. If they're taller, you're obviously going to be here. If they're shorter, your hand's going to be here. Okay? So you're holding the pelvis, you're stabilizing the pelvis, and you're stabilizing here. Why don't I use this hand?
Because you're not settling the pelvis. And it's then you're more, isn't where the pelvis is more factor. Because it's
This just tends to give you a little bit more freedom, this position, because his shoulder is tucked here. Here, you're a little bit more limited, and you don't want to interfere with the head man. Okay? So now that I'm here, now if you did have to cut any of the clothing away, now you can pull the rest of it, get rid of it. Now you have a clear visualization of the spine. You can see if there's any excessive damage, anything that doesn't seem to be right. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to palpate down the spine. You're going to walk your hand down, and then you're going to drag it down and pull it up.
And
if there's a step off, you're going to see it.
And is that why you auscultate? Like
this is your last chance to auscultate the front side. Okay? So you may or may not have, like on a regular trauma, you wouldn't have auscultated the front side. That doesn't come until later. Okay? This is your only chance to check your posterior lung sounds. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to check your posteriors. You're also going to, that's what this little window is for. You're going to reach in and you're going to double check the spine here. Anything you may have found, is it still there? Is it any different? Okay? You're also checking for, did anyone read the paperwork? Sacral edema, which is top of the butt crack. It's going to be a little poof. Okay? It may only be a bubble like this, or it could be a bubble the size of my hand. Okay? You should know what causes sacral edema for testing purposes. You're looking for something, you need to know what it is you're looking for and why it's there. So make sure you look that up. Okay? So you're checking for sacral edema. You're also checking for incontinence. Did he shit himself? Okay? It happens. Doesn't necessarily signify something, but if you have urine and defecation at the same time, it could be a nerve impingement. There could be an injury with the spine. Not necessarily. They could just have a weak bladder and a weak anus. You never know. Okay? People fall on things, okay? This is also an opportunity to look down the posterior. The leg man can also assist you by just kind of running their hands down, especially if they may see something that you weren't able to see initially. They can also be looking. They have a different view of the culo, okay? So they could see something here that you can't from your angle, and they can make note of it. If they say, oh, hey, oh, shit, oh, you might need to look at this, okay? And you can't see anything, but then you go like this, and you see maybe his culo has fallen out. Okay? Prolapse rectum. It happens.
All right, so let's say if Matt had a femur fracture on that side, would you still log roll them to that side, or you prefer doing this side?
If there is definitely an injury there, don't want to put them up on it. Then you can go the other way, pending you have space to do so. There may be times where you only have the option to bring it to the injured side. In which case you want to expedite this. Do it as quickly as possible. And that would also go for the ribs as well. So if you did find rib fractures on this side, you would definitely want to go to the other side. If you couldn't, you do this as quickly as possible. So you get them up, do your assessment, get them on the board. So while you're here, now I'm going to go ahead and bring the board up closer to my patient, and I'm going to set my straps. Okay? So what you're doing is you're putting your straps in a position that's not going to be compromising once they're on the board. Okay? So two ways to get him to the board. I can lay him down, or I can bring the board up to him and then bring him down to the board. That way tends to me seem useless. It's a little bit more effort than it needs to be. Plus then you screwed your straps up. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to intentionally position my board a little higher than it needs to be. You want to know what? He knows. Because we're going to do a Z-slide.
Mm-hmm.
So to do a proper Z-slide, do I want the head higher or lower than the patient?
One more.
One lower. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and lay him down on the headman's count.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Okay, so now you can see he's not on the board. He's not where he needs to be. Okay, what are you doing?
You got someone on his head, bro.
Come on, slacker. So now we need to move him to where he needs to be. So we are going to take him and we're going to go down with him. So you're going down and towards the middle of the board. And then if you didn't get him in the middle of the board just yet, you get one more shot, because now we're going to bring him up into the middle of the board. We don't just scoot him sideways, because you're running the risk of pushing off that spine. All your motions are linear with the spine. So if the patient was legs up against the wall, all swept, how are you going to roll them onto a board?
He was standing up?
No, he's laying on his back, his legs are up, he's all,
Wouldn't you just slide from, well, I don't know, would you slide them from the bottom?
slide him from the bottom.
Like if they're up against something like that, like,
From the top.
I'm assuming you would start from, I don't know.
But the, like, you slide them down. the
Yeah,
wall?
like onto the board, whereas, cause you said it's gonna be linear,
You're
right?
going to do a linear pull. Okay? Very little talk about a linear pull. You're not going to find much about that. This skill has already died off enough to think about this stuff. In rescue, that's how you're going to do it. If a person needs to come onto a board, there's no way to roll them. You're going to linear pull them onto the board, just like you would if you're extricating them from a vehicle to a gurney with a board on. Same process. You put the gurney or the board as close to them as possible, and then in one motion, you slide them up the board into place. One motion. You're just going to bring them all the way into position. Okay? So, like in this case, you uncomfortable yet? You uncomfortable yet? Yeah. So, now, fortunately, and this is another reason why when you're cut, you stop about here. Okay? Even both sides, stop. If you do need to come up, stop here. If for any reason you're dealing with anything here, do your cut and stop it here. Keep your waistband intact, if at all possible. This gives you a handhold now. Okay? You can use the belt. If they don't have a belt, then keeping this fabric intact allows you to use that. Because even on those cheap, shitty skinny jeans that people are wearing, this is still going to be more durable than, you know, grabbing stick and pulling. Don't do that. You're not going to reach around and hook it and pull either, as tempting as that might be. Okay? Don't intrude your patient. Use the fabric, use the clothing. Use that, I mean, it's there. Use it to your advantage. If you get rid of it, you just screwed yourself. Especially if they're big, fat, and sweaty. Ugh, you're trying to move a fish. Okay? So, she is going to be holding on to the leg and here. So you're going to go to here, okay?
And then what, like,
It's okay, you take a pull. It's all right.
Like you have to,
Man,
you have to like handle the leg.
Well, yeah, basically you're gonna have to grab like at the ankle, because now we're gonna
Wait,
slide down,
That ankle, right?
it doesn't,
preferably this ankle,
this,
because this hand is here, so you're gonna cross, okay? And now I am gonna pull here, and I'll be pulling from the top of the shoulder, okay? So now on headman's count, we're going to slide towards his boot.
Did I also pick up his head or?
Well, you're gonna just try to elevate it, keep it from smack on
1, 2, 3.
there. Okay? So one motion, we brought him to the center of the board. Now, we're gonna come straight up to where his eyebrows are on this. If you didn't preset your board and have this on it, don't stress, it's okay. Okay? There, we didn't, all right? So you know that you need to have it around here. Okay? So bring his head. This is generally your marker. Almost all boards have it. Okay? Or this right
His eyebrows has to be like right here.
here.
So do you like have to tell to stop or?
That's kind of how that works.
Alright.
All right. So it's not like the other one we went real quick. This one we're just going to go ahead and bring him up smoothly. Okay? So instead of coming here, now I'm going to reach underneath his armpit and I'll pull from here. Okay?
1, 2, 3. Stop.
Okay? It's that simple. We're about to find out. I'm going to test your abilities. Okay? So keep holding. What are you waiting for? Okay, he's on the board, right? So now we need to buckle him. Okay? Thorax, the rest of the body. thorax
Move the body.
the rest of the body. So you're gonna start here and you're gonna work your way down. Okay? Now, there's a reason for that,
That's a big part of it.
and you will learn that. Hey. That's mine.
Would the headman be able to help you or no? Yes,
No,
always.
you keep doing you.
And then after that, is it cross or is it just cross?
Either way. Okay, but now you've hidden the button.
So
Flip. Okay, this is how your headbed comes. This is what your headbed kit looks like. There is this, and then there's another variety.
See, I told you I wasn't dumb, bro.
Oh, I, well, yeah, of course, I knew there was more stuff, I didn't get your question.
So I have not seen this one in domestic use in a while. We still use this in trauma a lot. This is another variation. Okay. I love this one personally. So this one is super cool. It has its little pull tabs, and I'll show you what the pull tabs are for. And then once you get the pull tab sealed down, you just pull that and it locks the head in.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, totally fireman proof. Okay?
Good toy.
And no, like seriously, I have never seen anybody screw this one up. Seriously. Fireman proof. And I'll show you why this one clearly is not. Okay? That one is a lot of work, okay? You actually have to like have a brain and stuff. This one, you pull it and it's a zip tie. So once you pull it, you have to unlatch this in order to adjust it, if you need to adjust it. So, super cool device, love this thing. So once you get this here, you just slide this under the patient's head, because your headman can just slightly raise the head just enough. This will slip in either from the top or the side. Once you get it into place, you take your red tab and you pull it, and you pull it. It pulls away the backing, and there's sticky tape underneath this.
Nice.
Ah, sticky tape. That is tape. That is sticky. We clear on that? All right. We'll use that footage later in the video. Yeah. Okay. So the other one also has the same principle with the sticky tape and the easy pull tabs. A little trickier, okay? But that's what this one looks like. So if you see this in the field, this tends to be used more in wilderness. We do still use this up north, but here in the south area, I have not seen one of these in a while. These are the ones that I buy and carry for my company.
Stay strapped.
I still use them.
Fucking scissors.
They are slightly more pricey than these guys by like
$2.
60 cents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and the logic with current EMS is 60 cents. Well, if you multiply that by like 500, that's almost like $500 savings. That's good math, but so when you have watched firemen on scene try to put this one together, oh boy. Okay, so this is how it comes. You're just gonna go ahead and pop that open. You have a head block, or what's called a stay block. It says it right on it. Stay block, okay? These make the head stay. And it's a block. And then you have your, oh dick, your head pad. Son of a bitch. All right. That's your easy
That's
pull
the
tab.
sticky tape.
Yeah, easy pull tab came off a little too easy. Okay, so. Okay. Okay. That's on there, Bob. So now my partner is going to slightly elevate the head. I'm going to slide this into where it needs to be. And now, yeah, go ahead. For demonstration purposes, he's gonna pull that.
It's part of the tape.
I think you take those off first before you put. I
No.
didn't do that.
Well, it's gonna like
Once it's
skid.
in place, now you hold it still, and then you pull those out, voila. The sticky tape was just revealed, and it stays right where it needs to be. If you do that ahead of time, trying to put it in there, especially if there's like hair in the way, I don't know, sorry about that. You're gonna end up getting it all over the backside of that. What a pain in the ass that is. I know, I've seen it done. Okay. There's a lot in, okay, so fire. A lot of patients come in from county fire with their heads permanently glued to the board because of just that. They went ahead and pulled the tape, the sticky pads off, or pulled the sticky back off, and then go to put it in. Well, half of the hair gets pulled in with it. So there might be like this much actually stuck to the board. The rest is covered in hair. So then it takes the nursing staff, which sometimes if it's just a hellhole of a hospital that you're going to, you know,
Just cut it.
cool. No, just cool. That's their problem, if you don't like the staff. I'm not encouraging that, but I am. Because they're gonna have to spend a lot of time manually pulling hair off of the back of that. Looking forward to that, huh? You already thinking, so uncomfortable. Otherwise, they're gonna walk around with this T-bar stuck to their head. And on these, the sticky back is actually pretty sticky, our new one. Okay, so that is in place. Hold your head, come on. Now, it comes with 2 stay blocks, triangles, and a head strap, and then a head tape, duct tape. Duct tape fixes everything. This tends to be blown off scene super easy. Okay? Apparently, I don't know, it was just designed to catch the wind. I don't know, but so many of these things have just been blown away on scene. So, good thing for duct tape. Alright. So, you need to, as an EMT student, study these blocks. Okay? The reason for this is it only goes on one way. So, the way that it goes, and for the sake of saving a few people face during testing, if you have a matched pair, like you're supposed to, a lefty and a righty, one of them has a sticker and one of them does not. Doesn't matter which side you put the other one on. However, the sticker tells you which way's up. Yeah.
Huh.
So if you're trying to put it on this way, the sticker's not up. The smooth surface, okay, 2 of them have Velcro, 1 of them has a smooth surface. The smooth surface goes against the patient's head. Okay? If you try to put Velcro against their head, it's not going to work. Okay? I know, logic, right? So, smooth side against their head, this side is down, this side receives the strap. Okay? So, and then there's this one little sweepy curvy thing, so that way's up. So if you put these together like this in your hand, then you know that's the way they need to go. Okay? So as you're waiting for somebody else, then you can actually hand them to your partner like this. And then they can just grab it, stick it, grab it, stick it. Okay? So now I'm gonna have him go ahead and move his arm.
Oh.
And I'm going to put this up against the patient's head and then put it into place. I'm going to put this up against the patient's head and then put it in place. I want this snug against the patient's head. Okay?
What if the patient has a big head? Do those usually fit over them?
If the patient has a big head, well, okay, save the jokes for later. But
This is a big skull.
and they might. I mean, there are some big fat heads out there. No joke. There's some fat ass heads out there. Will it work? Yes, these will still work. It just may mean that there's only this much attached to the glue. Okay? That doesn't mean that you can't use it. Okay? Because when used properly, this is going to be in place, and now you're going to take the duct tape and you're going to run the duct tape across it all. Now, if she's got the drawn on brows, and, whoops, Mer. So if this didn't get blown away, hopefully most of the tape is going on this. But if you don't have it, you can, if you wanted to be nice, when you have your duct tape. In fact, isn't there a roll of duct tape over there?
If you want it to be nice.
If you want it to be nice. Now, I'm not saying, I am in no way obligating you to be nice. But
God
let's
damn.
just say, hypothetically speaking, you want it to be nice. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop this down on here. And then I want to be nice. I don't want to strip his eyebrows away. So what I can do is I can just take that and I can do that. And then run this around to my board. Okay? Now the head man can let go. Because now the head is locked in place. So in true trauma, we would actually take this one and we're going to run this one across here like that and lock it in place. In LA County, that is an absolute no-no. They do not lock the chin in. You will do that on your KED skill, but we'll get into that one.
We could do that in San Bernardino, though, right?
Correct. In true traumas, you will go ahead and lock it in. As long as this is done properly, that keeps that head locked in. It's not uncommon as soon as they arrive to the ED, just snip. Because now that takes that pressure off. But during transport, then that's good. Okay? So, chest, rest of the body, head is last. 3 simple words. Head is last. Okay? I mean, for some of you it's first, but head is last. Always remember that. Lock the head down last. Okay? Now he's ready for transport. Any questions?
Oh, when they're